Hello students, welcome to this class. Here we study the last portion of your first module, that is electrical services in building, classification of voltage, standards and specifications, and here we also see the safety aspects. Okay, so let us go to the topic. First one, we see standard voltages. So what are the different types standard voltages? So here we are having two types of services in our buildings, that is for single phase and three phase. For single phase we are having 240 volt, 50 hertz and 2 wire, and for three phase we are having the connection 450 volt, 50 hertz and 4 wire. So these are all the standard voltage in the distribution side. So in the distribution side we are being categorizing it in the single phase and three phase. So for single phase it is 240 volt and for three phase it's 415 volt. The frequency is 50 hertz. For three phase also frequency is 50 hertz. For single phase we are having 2 wire. For three phase we are having 4 wire. That is three phases R by B plus 1 neutral wire. Okay. See here the voltages are being standardized based upon National Electric Code, and it is being categorized into four: low voltage, medium voltage, high voltage and extra high voltage. Low voltage are the voltage which is not exceeding 250 volt, that we call as low voltage. Medium voltages are the voltage which is not exceeding 650 volt, and the high voltage is the voltage which not exceed 33,000 volt, and extra high voltage that exceeding 33,000 volt. So here we are having the low voltage, medium voltage, high voltage and extra high voltage. So the 240 volt single phase line to neutral is for distribution voltage, and 415 volt, see three phase line to line medium voltage. So why it comes in a medium voltage? Because it exceeds 250 volt. So that is why we take 415 as medium voltage. And 3.3 kV. So 3.3 kV it comes in the which category? It comes in the high voltage. How it exceeds above 650 volt. So that is why it comes as the high voltage. So we can see like this. In the substation the voltage will be high voltage. So in the distribution transformer the output voltage will be medium voltage, and in the single phase domestic houses we can see the voltage will be low voltage. So example for low voltage is your house, and example for medium voltage is your industry at which the voltages are being consumed, or the standard output of the distribution transformer, that is 11 kV bar 415 volt. And the example for the high voltage, that is standard output of a substation, that is 33 kV or 11 kV. 33 bar 11 kV is a step down substation which we usually connect for distribution transformer. Okay, now we can have 6.6 kV, it is for thermal power stations, and 11 kV it is for generating stations, is for primary distribution. It is for primary distribution. And 22 kV is not there in Kerala, it is in Tamil Nadu, and 33 kV is considered as extra high voltages exceeding 33 kV. And see, one more voltage is there, that is 132 kV, 222 kV and 400 kV. These are all used for transmission. And I think you know why we are using the high voltages in the transmissions. Okay. Next we see these are all the standard voltages, and the main important is the low voltage, medium voltage, high voltage and extra high voltage, and these standard voltages. Next we see voltage limits of AC system. The voltage limits as per NEC, National Electric Code. The supply authorities are required to maintain the voltages on the system under normal condition with the tolerance specified below. That is 6% in case of low and medium voltage installation. 6% means plus or minus 6%. Either it can increase above 6% or either it can decrease up to 6%. So either it can increase maximum up to 6% or either it can decrease up to minimum up to 6%. 6% on the higher side or 9% on the lower side of high voltage system. So 12.5% in case of extra high voltage system. So 6% in the case of low and medium voltage, and 6% that is for higher side, and 9% lower side in case of the high voltage system, and 12.5% in the case of extra high voltage system. So if you are having EHV, extra high voltage system, it is 12.5%. Under Indian electricity rules, the voltage fluctuations may not vary more than 5% above or below declared voltages. So under IEC, Indian electricity rule, it cannot vary above 5%. So normally if you say we are having under a single phase 240 volt, we can maximum, the lowest volt which we can receive is 228 volt, and maximum high voltage which we can receive is 252 volt. So this is what being shown here, 228 volt minimum, 252 volt maximum. So this is of 5%, considering 5%. So frequency must be within plus or minus 1% of the declared frequency of 50 Hz in 228 to 252 volt, and nominal it for the nominal voltage of 240 volt, and 394.25 to 435.75 for 415 volt. So if you take 5% of 415 volt minus 5%, you will be getting 394.25, plus 5% you will be getting 435.75. So that is frequency, it is plus or minus 1%. So Indian electricity rule through, it is stating that plus or minus 5%. And according to the NEC, the medium and low voltage specifications may be plus or minus 6%. According to the NEC, for a high voltage, it is it can increase up to 6% and it can decrease up to 9%. Okay, and for extra high voltage, it can go for 12.5%. So next we see the safety aspects applicable to domestic installations. So what are the safety aspects? So two important aspects of electrical system design are: one, to assure proper functioning of the installations for the use intended by the designer. To assure proper functioning, so we need to assure that this equipment or this in this installation is being functioning all the time without breaking the service. And to provide safety to person, livestock and property against dangers and damages. So in case say we are going for so say we are being supplying the electricity to a farm, so we need to see that if due to any short circuit, it should not affect the livestock. And also this is very considered by the electrical it is being very much considered while taken into consider while transmitting the electrical power from one state to other state through the forest areas, so that the wild animals will not get damaged. So wild animal will not get killed or will not get hurted due to this high voltage short circuit. To provide safety to person, livestock, property against dangers and damages. And every electrical installation exposes the two exposes to two major types of risk. One is electrical shock, and second is very high temperature due to sparking and likely to cause burns, fires and other injuries. So one is the electrical shock. So the electrical shock, once if a person receives, he can either he will not be having any injuries, that is he will not be having any burn, but this electrical cause may cause severe effect in his heart, that is we know it as microshock. Or other side, due to this electrical shock, this person may receive the minor injuries, that is burns, first degree burns, second degree burn, like that. Okay, now we need to see what are the safety aspects applicable to domestic installations. First is the protection against direct and indirect contact. Direct contact means if a person is directly in contact with the equipment. Say if the person who is, say, the lineman working in a particular state, particular station, or he is while repairing the poles, so he is directly in contact with the live wire, so it should be protected. Second one, the indirect contact. Indirect contact mainly causes due to insulation failures. There, say we have a metallic box and inside that we have insulated the wire. Unfortunately, if that wire insulation breaks out, if there is small scratches inside the wire insulations, so this may causes the insulation failure, so that the wire will become in contact with the metal case, and it may cause shocking to those person who hold that metal case. Okay, so this we call as the indirect contact. Third is the protection against thermal effect. So that is the thermal effect is if any electrical, due to the electrical current, if the due to the electrical current, say we are operating in an chemical industries or any industries, due to that one, say we are operating in the welding or we are operating in arc furnace, so there we are having the by using electrical energy we are operating that particular arc furnace. So in that case we can see that we need to see that the person or a people who is in contact with that furnace should not get hurted. Okay, so this one is called the protection against thermal effects. And next one, protection against overcurrent and over voltage, and other is protection against fault current. So first we see the protection against direct current. The protection against direct current to prevent person and livestock coming in direct contact with the live parts of the installation. First is to prevent him to direct contact with the live parts. Second one, you see that achieved by preventing current from passing the body, or by limiting the magnitude of the current which passes through the body to a value lower than the perceptible shock current. First one is to prevent it. First one is to prevent it, or the second option which we can have here is to reduce the magnitude of the current to below 2 milliampere. Why below 2 ampere? 2 milliampere is the particular magnitude of current below which we can hold it. We are not that much of susceptible. So about 2 milliampere current, the person will be very much susceptible to the very much susceptible and very much exposed to the injuries or to the damages. So that we need to decrease the magnitude of the current so as to protect the person. First one is to prevent it, or second one is to decrease the magnitude of the current, so that it will not cause more damage to the person. Okay. Second condition, the protection against indirect contact. The many electrical guard gates are manufactured with electrical external bodies that are conductive in nature, that is, say, metal case. Under normal conditions, they are at zero potential. In the event of insulation failure, the metallic body becomes partially conductive and will be threat to the user. So the protection against the indirect contact is achieved by preventing a current from passing the body. First one is to prevent the current from passing the body, or by limiting the magnitude of the current which passes through the body to a value lower than the perceptible shock current. Same thing which you are adopted in direct current. First one is to prevent, or by decrease the magnitude of the current which is being perceptible by the person. Third one, by automatic disconnection of the supply on the occurrence of fault. So that is by installing the relays and circuit breakers, automatic disconnection. And third one, we can see the protection against thermal effects. The electrical installation shall be so designed that there is no risk of ignition of flammable materials. Flammable materials means what? Oil, petroleum, natural gas. These are all the flammable materials. So there should be no risk in the ignition. So how the ignition will occur? Due to the spark in the electric current. So if there is small spark or lightning spark which we can see, to do this much young to what? To ignite the fire. Okay. There is no risk of ignition of flammable material due to high temperature of conductive parts or due to the electric arc. Okay, due to electric arc, there should not be any the ignition of flammable materials. And during normal operation, there shall be no risk of a person suffering from burns due to thermal effect. That I explained later. Say, firstly, that is, a person who is operating in the furnace should not have any burning effect under normal operation. Fourth one, protection against overcurrent. The protection needed to excessive temperature or electromechanical stresses caused by the overcurrent. So protection is needed for that. So how can we go for that? Automatic disconnection of the supply in the event of overcurrent. Automatic disconnection of the supply. Just automatically disconnect the supply in the event of overcurrent before it reaches a dangerous value. Automatically disconnect the supply by limiting the maximum value of the current to a safer value and duration. Or either you can disconnect the faulty section from the healthy section, or you just limit the fault current magnitude and duration. Okay. Next one, fifth one, protection against fault current. All conductors other than live conductors and any parts intended to carry fault current shall be capable of carrying the fault current without reaching the excessive temperature level. So what we can understand is, if a particular fault occurred in a transmission line, if we are having any protective system, that is any protective grounding, earthing and etc. So this earth wire should be what? This earth wire should be a conductor which should be able to conduct this fault current, so that carry the fault current without reaching the excessive temperature level. So this fault current should go to the earth without causing any more damages. Okay, so this is all conductors other than live conductors. So what is the other than live conductors? Means this one, earth conductor. Earth conductor is not a live conductor. What are the live conductors? Phases R, Y, B and neutral. and we are connecting it to the earth. So the earth conductor should carry it safely to the earth without causing any rise in the temperature level or rise in the fault current. Okay, next one, see the protection against over voltage and under voltage. The causes of over voltage, we can see lightning strikes, switching and faults between the live parts, etc. These are all the causes of over voltages. The measures shall be incorporated in the design to protect the person and livestock against harmful effects of over voltages. So the measures should be done. So what are these measures? So the measures is surge gap, road gap and surge diverter, overhead earth wires are used for the protection. So road gap, we know that we are having the road gap. So there is a two sphere, it's separated by a distance d, and we are in the bottom of the sphere, we are connecting it to the non-linear resistance. And what happens under fault current, once the fault current increases, the resistance decreases. So if the fault current passes through that, this non-linear resistance will cause the decrease in the resistance, and then this fault current can easily be conducted to the earth. Once the current is very lesser, the resistance will be higher in the bottom of the and this will not conduct this small current. So like that the road gap will function. So similarly the surge diverter will also function. So the surge diverter will divert the surge current. Surge means sudden increase in the current. So this surge current to the safer level. So these surge diverters and road gap arresters are mainly established in the substations. They mainly installed in the substations. Substation to protect from lightning strikes. Okay, next one, causes of and you can see the earth wire, overhead earth wire. The overhead earth wire is used in the transmission lines. At the top, at the top of the transmission line, we can see the overhead earth wire. So this overhead earth wire will carry the lightning strikes and lightning current safely to the earth. Next one, causes of under voltage. So causes of under voltage is I think you know about this: overloading of motors, sudden tripping of motors, starters, etc. In industries, under voltage can lead to the overloading of motor or even unwanted tripping of motor starters, which lead to the production loss. Hence most of these modern starting devices are equipped with under voltage protective elements also. So if the particular motor and etc., due to that, if the voltage is lower than 240, in case of 3, if it is lower than 392 voltage, that I explain later, that is, it should be plus or minus 5%. 450 model plus or minus 5% 392 കാട്ടിയും കുറവ് വരുമ്പോൾ എന്ത് ചെയ്യും, അത് ഡിസ്കണക്ട് ചെയ്യും. അപ്പോൾ അങ്ങനെ എന്തെങ്കിലും ഒരു മെഷേഴ്സ് ഇതിൽ ഇൻക്ലൂഡ് ചെയ്യാം. നെക്സ്റ്റ് വൺ, വി ക്യാൻ സി the building services. Building services രണ്ട് രീതിയിലാണ്. Building services is being classified into two, that is minor building services and major building services. Major building services is the building services which consumes higher amount of power. Minor building services which consumes minor amount of power, there is very less power. So those aspects of building design that make building worthy for its purpose for which they are designed are called building services. Those aspects of building design that make the building worthy for its purpose for which they are designed are called building services. അതായത് ഒരു ബിൽഡിംഗ് ഡിസൈൻ ഉണ്ടാക്കിയിട്ട് ആ ബിൽഡിംഗ് മാത്രം ഉണ്ടാക്കിയാൽ പോരല്ലോ, ആ ബിൽഡിങ്ങിന് എന്താ ചെയ്യണം, ആ ബിൽഡിങ്ങിനെ കൊണ്ട് നമുക്ക് എന്തെങ്കിലും ഗുണം കിട്ടണം. അങ്ങനെ ചെയ്യുന്നതാണ് ബിൽഡിംഗ് സർവീസസിനെ കൊണ്ട് എന്ന് ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്. The main classifications are major building services and minor building services. Major building services are lighting and ventilation, air conditioner, lift and escalators. ഒരു ബിൽഡിംഗ് പറയുമ്പോഴാണെങ്കിൽ നമുക്ക് സബ്സ്റ്റേഷനിൽ ബിൽഡിംഗ് ഉണ്ടോ? ഇല്ല. നമ്മൾ വീട് ഒരു ബിൽഡിംഗ് ആണോ? അല്ല. ബിൽഡിംഗ് സർവീസസ് ഇറ്റ് മെയിൻലി കംസ് ഇൻ ദി കമേഴ്ഷ്യൽ field. We are mainly going for the commercial field. So in the commercial field we are having lighting, ventilation, air conditioning, lift and escalators. So you just bring an supermarket or a mall to your mind, then you will be understanding what I am going to say now. So these are called the major building services because the amount of electricity requirement is considerably high. So here the amount of electricity requirement is considerably very higher. Next we see what are minor building services. Minor building services are the electric audio systems, that is electric call bell systems, that is electric clock system, fire alarm system, and closed CCTV, closed circuit TV system, and data networking and intercom, and cable TV network. So these are all the minor building services, that is alarm system, that is CCTV, that is TV connection, that is the electric clock system. Then next one is data networking and intercom. These are all we call as the minor building services. The types and number of minor buildings services depends on type and occupancy of building. So in our college we are having the intercom for calling from one department to the other. So this connection, and we are also having the CCTV. So these are all comes under the minor building service, and we are also having the mic for announcing any important events like prayers, etc. So that is bell, call bell system, this one the intercom system, then CCTV systems, etc. These are all comes under the minor building services, and types and of the minor building services will vary from building to building. Occupancy of also referred to as the functional and safety services. It consumes less amount of power. Why it is called as minor building services? Because it consumes very less amount of power. I think you got this concept. Now I am just wind upping this first module. Now I will be giving you assignment in this class. On this class you just write that assignment and submit it as early as possible within a week. Okay, I wish you a nice day. Bye.